All right, hey, Mike Gowans here, and in this video, I'm not gonna get you to try to opt into anything. I'm not gonna try to do anything fancy like that. I just really wanna cut to the chase and get right to it. So you're probably a business owner that is in martial arts. You're a martial arts business owner, and you're probably tired of all the crap that's out there. Everybody's going around and being so noisy about chat bots, about all these different things that you should do to grow your martial arts business. And you yourself might be sitting there thinking, how am I actually going to do that? Here it is, the beginning of 2020, and you're wanting to do the right thing to grow your business. But what is that? What do you do? So I just wanted to get to the facts. I wanted to get to the 9 disruptive truths about martial arts marketing and just get right to it. Everybody's out there so noisy and they got all these great headlines and all this stuff, how many, they spend $100 on ads and make $10,000 in a single week and all this crap, okay? So I just want to cut through all that. I want to get to the facts. I want to share with you what's really going on out there. And I want to just be real with you. So, you don't have to opt in for anything. You don't have to give me anything, nothing like that. I just want to actually just provide you some really good value here. But there's a lot of things that haven't been introduced to the martial arts industry. And if it is being introduced, it's being so abstract that people can't really follow it and understand what the heck is going on there. So I made a few slides here that I want to go through with you. And by the end of this, you should have an idea of what actually you should be doing in order to grow your martial arts business. I've looked at a lot of different industries throughout the years, and I've been doing this for about 15 years now. And we've been doing it successfully through, down times and up times and, everything. We're very consistent in what we do. And it's because we're following a certain system. We're following certain things that apply to the bottom denominator in any business, which is people. So if you're wanting to get new students into your school, if you want to get new people that are committed, that want to be there, and you want to cut through all the noise out there and actually have a strong piece of operational systematic stuff that's happening that predictably will bring in new students, quality students, and they're actually coming to you instead of you having to do all these different things, then this is going to be really, really important for you to understand. So in today's marketplace, there's a lot of different things that people are wanting to get you to do to try to figure things out. And there's a lot of old things that they're not very efficient or effective. For instance, flyers and birthday parties and walking around with a clipboard and going out there and trying to get people to join your school, just like literally soliciting them hardcore, just walking up to them. I mean, those are the people you try to avoid when you're like leaving a grocery store and you see somebody walking around with a clipboard. It's like, oh, really? So that did work at one time, right? That when that was the options, but today it's changed. Today we can do different things like track and be more targeted and actually like figure out what it is people want and create that so that they want to come to us. We can create what we talk about over here is a magnetic dojo offer, something that when you deploy it out there into the marketplace, at will you start getting new appointments. You get people coming in the door. But the first thing I want to talk about is really what people used to be able to do, right? So back when the internet really got started, anybody could just, throw something up, and if they knew a little bit of copywriting, if they knew a little bit about making some offers or something like that, they could just fly by night, put something up, grab some cash out of the internet, and then be gone. But it doesn't work like that anymore because, well, frankly, people have wisened up, right? They've seen a lot of stuff. And so they're not, it's just the prices of ads have went up. Email marketing isn't as strong as it used to be. Things have just changed. But even through all those downtimes where the cost per click has went up or the cost per lead has went up or, the email rates are lower and all the different things that have happened that used to be just, wow, you could throw it up and do it. Even when those things were all going down, we've been able to still have $10,000 days. And so it's because we're not doing fly-by-night stuff. We're not just throwing mud at the wall and seeing what sticks. We actually follow some core principles and business principles that you can follow too and actually get the same type of predictable results in your own business, okay? So email broadcasts, you used to be able to just build this big email list and then just broadcast the heck out of it, but all those rates have changed. People used to be able to do that. SEO traffic, you used to be able to just depend on a blog and get people to read your blog posts and then click through to do different things, but that's changed as well. It's gotten more competitive out there, and it's literally just shutting people down. People that are depending on this stuff or just trying to fly up there and just put something up and try to grab something out of the marketplace, it's just not working. But you're probably like, well, okay, but why should I listen to you? Do you own a martial arts school? Have you ever been in martial arts? Well, I have been in martial arts, and I took martial arts for several years when I was younger, and it changed my life and made a big difference in my life. But why should you listen to me, right? Like, I don't own a martial arts business. I don't teach a school. But my question is do you want somebody that's good at teaching a martial arts school and can, be a master at martial arts, or do you want to be with somebody that has mastered how to develop inbound student system for martial arts? Do you want to be with somebody that is good at what they do, which is getting new students to sign up for your martial arts business? Or would you rather have somebody that's good at doing what you're already good at doing? That's the real question. So that's why we have teams. That's why we work together, so that, you'll never see Tom Brady as a fullback or, running the ball. Like, he's a quarterback. That's what he mastered. That's what he does. And when we come together, when they bring those systems together, then everything works, right? So you're really good at doing martial arts. You're really good at teaching it. You're really good at being a very good martial arts business teacher and working with your students. But you probably didn't learn marketing and business because you learned to be very, very good at martial arts. And so now that you want to do it full time as a career and you want to or grow it past where you've gotten it already, how do you do that? Well, times have changed, right? Things change and the marketing has changed. So it's really important that you understand, while everyone else was getting taken out during all these downtimes, I've just been out there focusing on what matters, and I've been thriving. My business grows each and every month, consistently, month after month. I focus on solving problems. I focus on my customers. I focus on creating a real product, a real service, something that actually works and solves a good problem that is out there in the marketplace, that people like yourself, a martial arts business owner who wants to get more students, that's what I focused on. That's what I'm doing. Because no matter what industry you're in, the person that ends up handing you money is a person. So it doesn't matter about being a martial arts expert or owning a martial arts gym. I just specifically and only work with martial arts business owners, and I've dissected the entire industry. I've looked through everything that's available. Every single day, it's what we do from sun up to sundown, and we make sure that we understand the marketplace. And so we spend, 6 figures on ads that run every single day, and we're winning on multiple channels while everybody else can't figure out how to get a student in. We're maxing out, we're having to hire people. So I'm not telling you that to brag, I'm just saying, why should you listen to me? Well, we really know how to get martial arts business owners students. We really know how to create offers, and we really know how to do the marketing in a way that it actually grows the business, and we know how to actually create a really good product and service within the martial arts industry so you can actually thrive. Because if your business only differentiates itself with its marketing, you're in really big trouble, because marketing itself, marketing skills isn't a big enough differentiator. That's easy to cut through. That shuts out easy. But actually having something that really solves a problem in your industry for your ideal client, your ideal student, that's what really, really matters. So I want to go through here, and I want to help you understand, how do you survive as a martial arts business owner in this current state of marketing? It's not going to be walking around with a clipboard or sending out flyers or doing mailers in the mail or running radio ads or running TV ads. When was the last time you seen your ideal student, which for most people's, a lot of you want adults, but a lot of you just 7 to 12-year-old kids would be just great if they were committed, they had a strong backing behind them. That's really what you'd want. When was the last time you seen one of those kids at that age walking around with a newspaper or a flyer or listening to the radio or frankly even watching TV? Because if I look at my own kids here at the house, this is all they're staring at all the time. TV could have anything on it. Radio could be going. This is where it's at, right? But how do you do it? How do you not lose your butt on that, right? Times have changed. Like I said, you can't just rely on marketing skills. If you think you're just gonna go out there and put up some whiz-bang headline and some whiz-bang stuff and it's gonna work, you're gonna get taken out in the night. You can't rely just on the marketing. So while everybody's out there screaming and yelling about how marketing, martial arts marketing, spent $100 on ads and $10,000 in student signups. I mean, does that even make sense? Like, think about that. How much do you charge for a student? How much, right? 150, 200, 250? Divide that by 10,000 and does that make sense? 300 students, 250 students in a week? Do you know anybody that's ever done that in a week at one school? Replication and one size fits all. It's like everybody's got this like one size fits all, or just copy these like crazy like cookie cutter websites and stick them out there. Things have changed. People see past that now, right? Competition is for losers. If you can't separate yourself out there and you can't be different, nobody can see you because everybody's looking the same, right? Replication, one size fits all. But how do you be different in a world where everybody that teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at your lineage, how do you be different there? That's what you really got to figure out, right? Well, we know how to do that, of course, but you've got to get really niched down. You've got to be able to target a specific group of people. And that's not what's happening out there. Everybody's saying the same thing, doing the same thing. They're not tracking, they're not targeting, not having any clue how to, what it costs per student. How can you scale if you don't know what it costs to get a new student? I talk to martial arts business owners all the time, every single day. And I ask them, what's it cost for you to get a new student into your school? Well, we really don't track that. And yet they're like wondering why they can't get new students. And then if they do have an idea of how much it costs to get a new student, they don't know where it comes from. They don't know which channel it comes from. So things have changed here, okay? Before you could just go out there and things were different, right? But now there is other people out there and there is people figuring things out. But what we've done is we've focused on adding value and support. And by adding value, it means we're finding a niche, we're finding out what their problem is and how martial arts applies to their problem, and then we're creating a solution for that through martial arts. So now all of a sudden, no competition, we're the only dojo in town. Even if there was 1,000 BJJ places or karate places or kung fu places or aikido places, it doesn't matter, judo places, doesn't matter, any discipline. There could be 1,000 of them, but none of them have what we have now. Because we go into the marketplace and we find out, what is that thing, right? We separate ourselves from the norm. We're not promoting the same thing everybody else is promoting, even though we're the same type of school that teaches Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, for instance, right? Or judo or whatever. You could use any of them, it doesn't matter. Any martial art, it doesn't matter. We're completely different. We look like a pink, rhinoceros amongst the norm. Because we're not trying to be all things to all people. We're trying to find a specific group of people that we identify a problem with, and then we figure out a solution for that problem through a program, through an offer, through a product, through martial arts. Now all of a sudden marketing just changed. Now all of a sudden they can hear you because you're striking a nerve. We got to create great products and services. This is what actually matters. Nobody pays it. It's so weird that it's like unusual if you focus on adding value and separating yourself and working with a small group of people instead of being all things to all people. And then if you really focus on great products and a great service, that's what really wins in business. But people are out there, it's all about Facebook. It's all about Instagram. It's all about SEO and growing a following, an organic following. So you have this big following. It's all about chatbots and creating funnels and all this stuff. And they're forgetting, like, all these things right here are just boxes. Boxes to put stuff in, to put your picture updates in, to put your videos in, to put, about our school in here, blah, 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 all this stuff, chat, like all this stuff, they're just empty boxes that you can put stuff in. But if you don't have good stuff to put in them, they're pointless and worthless. And that's why some of you are doing the Facebook, Instagrams, and the SEO, and you've got all these funnels and things, but it's not working. That's why, because you gotta have this stuff in there. You gotta focus on what actually matters when it comes to generating new students. See, the only reason that people give you their time or their money is because you're helping them solve a problem. But the world's big, right? 1 million seconds is 11 and something days. 1 billion seconds is like 33 years. That's the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. So what I'm trying to say is the market is humongous. There's almost 3 billion people, if not 3 billion people on Facebook. You're not gonna just be all things to all people, you'll go broke, right? You'll go broke. So it's about the intelligence. That's the delusions that are out there. And you're hearing this, and a lot of you have fell for this, and it's not really your fault. Nobody brought this to the industry yet, and it's kind of crazy. And that's, when I looked at this industry and came into it, it looked like 1985, 1970s marketing out there. And I'm like, what is going on here? Did nobody tell the martial arts industry what's going on? I'm like, martial arts changed my life. So I'm gonna go out there and make a difference with it. I'm gonna bring the information to them. We've been able to produce no matter where we go because the common denominator is people. And so coming into this industry, I was like, you know what? This industry is giving me a lot. I wanna give back to it. And I'm gonna help this industry because it stands for a good thing. Helps people focus, helps people have respect for not only themselves, but others. Self-defense, of course. Helps people have a clean mindset and be able to think in a way that's very sound. Focus, attention, being able to understand yourself. It's so powerful, all the things. Be a better person out in society. So I'm like, they have all the greatest stuff, but they don't know how to get it out there. So that's why we created this stuff. But while everybody's been focusing on all this stuff, our clients, our students, and myself, we focus on making great products. We focus on our customers and what they really want, and our students, what they're really looking for out there, solving those problems and making great stuff. And we've been thriving beyond belief. It's crazy. It's crazy if you just focus on what matters, what actually happens, and then having that in a place and in a system that actually can work. So we're going to talk about that. But while everybody else is focused on being famous on social media and, writing books and talking about, how good they are on social media and all that stuff, all the stuff that nobody cares about, you can't take fame to the bank. It won't cash at the bank. Podcasts and YouTube, people are putting up podcasts and talking about what? Right? 99% of their time, they're trying to create content or put all this stuff out there, and they're spending 1% of their time on their product and their service and their offer and their messaging. And so we flip this around, right? We spend 1% on creating content, and we spend 99% on customer service, on understanding our marketplace and finding a powerful niche and creating a real offer that's gonna bring in martial arts students because they can't resist it. They have to come in because it pays attention to them, right? It's not this thing they can go learn. It's not this great thing that their parents just stick them in. It's something that makes sense to them. It solves a problem. So that's really what we have to pay attention to here. All right, and we focus on creating value, so we don't have to. We'll create one piece of value. And it can live forever because it's so focused on what they told us their problem was. We really get in there and we go out and do research. When was the last time You went out and did super specific research on your ideal student, and you found out what really the problem was that they had, the way they think about it, and then you put it together in an offer where your karate or your kung fu or your aikido or your Brazilian jiu-jitsu or your Muay Thai. When was the last time that you went out and really focused and asked them, hey, what's the biggest thing that you're like struggling with? And then you went back to the lab and you looked at your martial art, your discipline, and what you can offer, and you figured out a way to formulate a product offering and a service and an offer with the message that strikes a nerve and gets them to see that you can get them from their current situation to their desired situation using your product across that gap. Well, why would anybody do anything with you? You know, the people that want to do that stuff, that are aware of that stuff, they'll come to you. But how many people don't even know they love Muay Thai until they get introduced to it? But we can't introduce it to them because we can't get in front of them. Do you see what I'm saying? So I had no idea I liked karate when it was brought to me, but as soon as I was introduced to it, I was like, whoa. And I did it for years, right? There's so many people out there that don't know that they need you, but you got to understand them. And then you got to provide real solutions. And if you do that, your calendar is full. Your appointments are there. It's very, very crucial that you do this. So Darwin said, it's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. The martial arts industry and its marketing is different now. It's 2020. There's literally out there in groups, I see people talking about like what color of paper they should use for their flyers. What's the problem with that? Number one, you can't track and retarget, and you can't follow people around, and you sure as heck ain't getting them where they're at. That's the problem. People are literally driving their cars off of like cliffs looking at their phone instead of paying attention to the road. They're not doing that with flyers. When was the last time you seen one of your ideal students, somebody that was perfect, reading a newspaper, holding a flyer? I'm not coming down on you. I'm trying to bring awareness and reality to the situation. So unless you're ready to change, but then we say this, well, but technology's too hard and all this stuff. That's not true, right? We just need an understanding of how to actually do that simpler and understand that even the tools have changed and become really easy, right? But we have to change. Can you imagine the guy that, like, you know, Henry Ford came out with the car, and can you imagine that guy that's like, I'm not gonna change, I'm not gonna do it, and he like kept his horse and buggy? Like, how well do you think that really worked out? I mean, that's what some of you are saying when you do that. You're saying, oh, it's too hard, and you really haven't taken the time to look at it or have somebody help you understand it, and it's really not that bad, not at all. So we have to make this change, or you'll literally fizzle out and die. And it's gonna happen faster and faster and faster. Some of you are already feeling it. Some of you are working 2 jobs to keep your martial arts school open. Some of you are at your wit's end. You're completely overworked. You're working a full-time job, 8 to 10 hours a day. Then at night you're doing the school. And you're putting all your effort in there. That's what you want to do for a living. Like, that's what you want to make a great career out of and just only focus on. But we've got to be able to change, because it's not who can tough it out the hardest. You can be the toughest clipboard person or flyer person out there. Not going to work. Not going to work. Okay, it's not going to work. You could be the smartest martial artist on the planet. But if you don't change to where the attention's at, you're smoked. It's done. It's over. So we have to do that. So the first thing I want to talk about is martial arts marketing doesn't work. No, the type of martial arts marketing that you're doing doesn't work. And we have to have real focus on what actually matters when it comes to somebody signing up with you as a student, okay? The only reason people give you their time or money is because you're helping them get from their current situation to their desired situation, and you do that through your martial arts, right? So, but if you don't know where they're at, like if you don't know what their problem is, and you don't know what they're trying to get to, and you don't know what that is, and you're not clear on those two things, it's almost impossible for you to, first of all, get their attention, but second of all, if you don't know those two things, they'll never hear you or see you. They'll never click an ad. They'll never do anything. They won't pick up the phone. They won't call. And so you have to understand that about your marketplace. But who's your marketplace? So if your school is so good and you're so good and you're such a good teacher, well, that's huge, because that's the most important thing. If you want your school to be successful, word of mouth, nothing beats that. But you've got to get the word of mouth going. And if you're down to, 20, 30 students, 50 students, and you need to be at that 200, 250, 300, you're going to have to understand that martial arts marketing does work. It just changed where it's working at. And nowadays, you have to focus deeper on a niche. You have to get closer to a specific group of people, but your marketing isn't going to be the thing that differentiates you. It's the offer that you're making to the marketplace that's what matters. You can't just be yelling about karate anymore. It has to be karate with a specific focused purpose, because people have options now. We don't have to watch commercials. We can click through. We don't have to eat a certain thing. We can order whatever we want precisely. Like, we don't have to do anything that we don't want to do now. We can make sure that it's super focused on what we want, right? So they don't just want karate, and they just talk about karate and, oh, it gives you self-respect, and oh, better attention, and oh, bullying, and oh, all this stuff. But they don't see it as the solution for their problem, because the way they think about their problem in their head, they don't even realize that martial arts is the answer, because you can't present it that way. That's what we need to focus on. So things have changed from this, walking around with clipboards, flyers, birthday parties. This stuff is time consuming, trading time for dollars, and expensive. It's very unsystematic. Not everybody can go do this, right? This is like, oh my gosh, really? When was the last time you even cared about a flyer? Birthday parties, time consuming, money consuming. I'm not saying these things don't work, but they're gonna work you to the bone now. Like, it doesn't make sense financially to be doing it that way. It doesn't make sense time-wise to do it that way. This is where the attention is. Automation can set up an appointment. Automation can get you a survey with that appointment. So when you talk to them, you can decide even if you want to talk to them, because in the survey that they're going to fill out, they're going to tell you what their problem is. They're going to tell you if they're financially able to be a student. They're going to tell you if they can actually, be a part of what you have there on purpose. So if you get the survey back and it doesn't make sense, you don't have to take the call. Time saved. But you have so many of them scheduled, you can actually do that. You can have a choice, right? You don't have to be desperate, okay? And take anything and then be upset when they quit a week later or a few days later, they don't pay, right? Here, you're probably saying, well, why would they set an appointment? Why would they do that? Because we know who they are. We're adding value to them in the way that they want it. See, people, it's information now. We're in the data world now. We can know something like that. When we have a question, we go to Google, YouTube, Facebook, we connect. We know everything at light speed now, right? So you got to understand, who is your perfect martial arts student? Who is that ideal student? And what is the problem that they're facing internally that even motivates them to want to come find you or see you? If you don't know that answer, that is where the problem starts to lie. It's not free classes, join, we'll give you a gi, we'll give you free weeks, we'll give you this, we'll give you that, come join, free classes. When I hear free, it just devalues it. I'm like, ugh, really? Can I get something that's worth something, please? Those are the people that actually stay. Right? When something's cheap, what do you usually think? You're like, it's probably not that valuable. Probably not that good. Right? So that's how the things have changed. But when you strike a nerve, they will set an appointment. They will watch your video that you recorded. Like, I've recorded this video already. I'm not doing this right now. I'm leveraging myself. You're watching it. I'm not doing this anymore. I made this video one time and it plays over and over and over and over and over again, bringing in new business, helping people learn about this while I'm out doing something else to continue to grow. And I'm focused on adding value right now. I know that you want students. I know that you predictably want students every single day, and you want to be able to grow your gym without having to do more stuff. I get it. You have to have a system in place. You have to have a product that matters to people. You have to, and you're saying, well, how do I offer product in martial arts? That's what you're learning right now. It's not just, hey, we have martial arts class. Here's our schedule. Go to our website and you see our schedule and sign up. They're like, what? Like, it's got to matter, okay? It's all about the offer and its performance. This is all it's about. 99% of the martial arts businesses that I talk to, the reason they're not getting new students, the reason they're not getting leads, the reason that they're not getting good leads. I hear these people, oh, 1,000 leads in 1 week. How many did you sign up? None. I'd rather get 7 leads and sign up 4. Do more, do less, get more. Because how do you do less and get more? The difference is quality. Why is the quality better? Because when I put out my marketing messages, it matters to them. It's not just free class, hey, martial arts, get better focus, self-defense. I talk about their problem the way they do in their journal, so that when they pick up their journal and they look at it, they're like, whoa, I didn't remember writing that, but man, that's right on. That is the problem I'm dealing with. And then I provide a solution. So it's about your offer. You got to differentiate yourself by your offer. Okay? So there's all kinds of different people out there. There's millions in each one of these groups of people. If you say, okay, this is my perfect ideal person, then you need to get a bunch of those people. So you need to focus all your efforts as if you don't see these other colors anymore and you only focus on this. Now, we can go to these people and we can say, hey, what are you struggling with? What are you dealing with? Or you can just listen. You know, everybody posts on social media about what they hate, what they love, their problems, blah, 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 blah. Right? You can go out there and you can find this information now. And so you can laser guide a perfect offer and actually create a solution to these people's problems, so that when you put it out there into the marketplace, only these people see it and we don't worry about the rest here. And then now we've got people that are coming to us because they're like, hey, that's exactly what I need. There was a guy I was talking to, he was wanting to start a martial arts business. He was wanting to do a Krav Maga school. And I was talking to him, we were going through the process, I was just chatting with him, we were doing a strategy session. And he's a security guard at a mental hospital, and he's down in South Texas, and he makes like $15 an hour. And there was somebody out there that had a great martial arts offer, and what they were doing, it was like a 1-week boot camp type deal, like a warrior weekend type thing. And it was for people that want to, okay, get this, it was for people that work in mental hospitals, that are security guards, or that are unarmed or unarmed security guards. So they only focused on this right here. They didn't care about everybody else. Although their stuff works for everybody else, they only focused on these types of people, security guards basically. Well, he's seen this, and they put together this program where it was 8 hours a day for 7 days straight, and it was $6,000. And it was in Las Vegas in a convention hall. And it wasn't a big place either. It wasn't like one of the big hotels in Vegas. It was just like a smaller hotel off the grid a little bit. And it was 8 hours a day for 7 days. So, 50 plus hours here. And he saved up for 6 months to go to this thing, and then paid an additional $500 because when he first went to go get it, it was full. They had 50 tickets available at $6,000 a piece in a 7-day camp. Okay? This person doesn't make very much money, right? But the promise that they made was, when you get done with our Krav Maga weekend, you'll be able to teach Krav Maga, you'll know the moves that can do this and that, and they really focused on that security officer and what they dealt with, right? And so it was so honed in, the offer, the product in the martial arts thing, that He saved up for 6+ months, took a week off from work, plus days to drive there, drive back, and pay for a hotel there. And he paid an extra $500 to hold a spot that if they did happen to have an opening, that he could fill that opening right away in front of everybody else. So there was like a waiting line, and that was a non-refundable $500 he put in for that. Do the math on 50 times 6,000. That was in a week. How many of your schools have made that in a week? Like a single school. I know some of you are watching this, you're like, oh, I own 50 locations, we have blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I'm talking to the person that really wants to get an extra 100, 200 students this year, right? Real students that don't stay for a week and leave. I'm saying that commit. Adults, women only, whatever you want, right? Smaller framed people, right? So that is the big difference. That is what it's all about. That's how you don't have competition in your industry. That's how you stick out to a certain group of people and you can pull them out of anything and poof, they see that. Now you're the best at that. Even though you can do it all, but here's what happens. They come spend a week with you, get massive value out of this product that you put together for that week, and then guess what happens? They really like you because you're really good at what you do. And now all of a sudden, what happens? Hey friend, hey friend, hey friend, hey friend. And all of a sudden, they're talking about this thing that they did. Everything changed now. It's not just I take karate. It's not just I'm doing Krav Maga. It's not just whatever. You see what I mean? That's a completely different setup. That's how you generate inbound students. That's how you can go into 1,000 BJJ schools around you and you're the only one that people see. That's how you do it because they can't offer what you offer because you're the only one offering it. And you're the only one that took the time to understand these dots instead of trying to be all things to all people. That makes sense? There's only competition for replicators. I see this all the time. I see all the time that it's like a cookie cutter website and it literally says the exact same thing. It's not about the way the website's designed. It's not about the way the colors and all that stuff. It's not about any of that stuff at all. Zero. It's about what you can put on that page. All the pages though that I see out there, they all look the same. It's like they're just a different color. I see it like literally if you go to Google right now and Google martial arts marketing websites, it just shows the same website in multiple colors. That's the differentiation. It's like cattle. My grandpa used to always tell me, he goes, Michael, you know, if everybody's going that way, probably the best thing to do is go the other way. That's why 5% of people make over 6 figures a year. 95% don't. Why is that? Because they're willing to do something different. They're willing to understand how to be different and to do something that not everybody else is doing. Go ahead and do what all the other schools are doing and then realize they're all struggling with the same thing. Or you can be different and understand things change and go the other way and have tremendous success. It's not an accident to make $1 million. You don't slip and fall into $1 billion. There's a system there. There's a reason why. You know, I hear those people that are like, oh, anything they touch turns to gold. What do you think that is? What do you think they understand? They understand that the only reason people give you their time or their money is because you can help them understand where they are and their problem with clarity, and you can help them understand and you understand where they want to go with clarity, and the gap that happens between those two places is called your offer, and your offer solves the problem and bridges this gap and gets them across. You have to formulate now like that. People are getting smarter. People before rode a horse and buggy, right? They knew nothing about the car. Nothing. They didn't even know like how to turn it on when it first came out. Like they had no idea how to drive at that speed. But what happened? All of a sudden, everybody had a car, right? Slowly everybody adopted and had the car. And people got better and better at driving it and more conscious of it. And they could do it like, have you ever drove somewhere and you're like, I don't even remember driving there. Like it's like you do it like it's so patternistic. That's what's happening in the marketing world. Everybody's seen all that stuff. Everybody's looked at all those flyers. Everybody's experienced all that stuff. And so they can't see it anymore. It's like banner blindness, right? Banner ads used to be awesome. Now they're freaking everywhere and people don't see them because they're like used to it. You know the moment when an ad comes on, like a commercial comes on, you're like you don't even see it or hear it, right? That's what's happened out there in the martial arts world. And so now we've really got to make sure that we understand that while everybody's doing this in 2020 and beyond, doesn't matter where you're seeing this now, because people are used to that stuff. They're used to all that stuff. You've got to differentiate. You've got to just be somebody that focuses on a smaller group of people, okay? You've got to understand this principle right here. And you can do it. It works. We do it successfully all the time. So I want to talk to you about focused value versus everywhere fame. All right? So if you can, like I've been telling you, the only reason people give you their time or money is because you can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. And you do that with your product right here. Your product is that gap filler, okay? So everybody right now has a current situation. You have a current situation right now. If you're still watching this, the reason why is because you probably own a martial arts business and you probably want to get more students predictably day after day, week after week, month after month, and you want to be able to grow your school. That's your current situation, and you don't know how to get to what we just talked about. Predictably get clients every single day that are highly committed, that want to actually do the thing and be involved and do it. That's where you want to be. You want to get to 200, 300, 400, 1,000 students. Maybe you have 10 schools and you want an extra 200 at each of them, right? How do you get 2,000 students? Everybody has a current situation. Everybody has a desired situation. They're willing to give you their time and their money if you can help them cross this gap. Once you understand what this is, then you understand this, then you can create and formulate your product and service, which is martial arts, which is all the things that it can do: focus, get your mind right, be better in society, help you chill out a little bit, give you self-defense, give you, weight loss, give you mobility, give you something to do, give you something to be proud of, accomplish something, overcome a challenge, right? But you can make that and formulate that into something that matters now to college girls, right? And now all of a sudden you've got these college girls, and there's so many people out there. They have a current situation. Maybe they were in a situation. Maybe they don't even realize that Kung Fu could help them focus better in school, but all they think about with Kung Fu is hi-ya and kick, punch, karate, right? Kicking and that's a lot of people that's what they think, right? Good, bad, or indifferent doesn't matter. They don't realize it can help them think clearer. They don't realize it can help them overcome depression or get through a midlife crisis. They don't know that. And we're not talking about it either. Well, then how the hell are they supposed to know that, right? But when you do understand what that college girl's dealing with, now all of a sudden you can focus your messaging, your marketing, and create an offer that matters just to them. And of course you could make offers for different types of people. You don't just have to focus on them, but you could start there. And then all of a sudden that girl goes, oh my gosh, you don't realize that XYZ dojo down the street's a Kung Fu school. I had no idea. They have this college girls, it's like a weekend thing. It's like 4 days. It's only $180. And there's like 30 girls in the class at a time. And it's amazing. Like I went in there and I've done so much better on my test scores. I feel safer anywhere that I go. Like if we go to like a party or anything like that, I just feel safer because I do actually know some things that could help me get out of a jam. Plus I've met some great people, but we don't talk about it like that. And we don't focus it on that person and make it just about them, because once you've done that, the word spreads if you do a good job, which you will because you're good at what you do, right? That's what we got to focus on. That's why people give you their time or money. So if you don't have students that are giving you their time or their money, it's because you don't matter to them. It has nothing to do with martial arts. It just doesn't, they don't understand why martial arts is important to them. Because we're so focused on marketing that we're forgetting the most important thing is our customer. And our customer only gives us their time or money if we can help them solve a problem, but we got to know what that problem is. Because as soon as we know what that problem is, a lot of times this right here is the complete opposite of what this is. And so we understand how to create that with this. But how do you do that, right? How do you do that? Well, you got to know about your people, okay? So people are out there, and everybody else out there is focused on chat bots and funnels and Facebook and Instagram and creating blogs and creating content all day and looking cool and doing all these flashy videos and all this stuff and trying to be like all these things to all these people. While we're in here and our clients, our students, we're focused on creating value for the right person. So we're like crushing through, because this will always stand the test of time. I don't care if artificial intelligence, holograms, augmented reality, virtual reality glasses come out, and maybe social media just completely disappears and everything on the planet, it becomes a screen and everything. I'll tell you what, it does not matter, because we always will have a current situation, we will always have a desired situation, and we will always want to know how to get there. And if you can master that, you can have abundance of students that are at mastery levels with you. And it's not about the money. It's never been about the money. It's about, can you solve problems? So that's really, really important. Here's what a lot of people are doing though. I'll just do everything just so I have all the bases covered, because I don't know where they're gonna be. I hear this all the time, like, don't just put your focus into or eggs in one basket. You need to have, you just need to be everywhere with all this stuff. Actually the greatest investors don't focus on being diverse. Why would you, if you know something's killer and it like works really good, it's a really, really good investment, why would you ever take any of your money and put it somewhere else? Why wouldn't you put it all into that? Because once you've got that so protected and massive, now you can branch. But here's what everybody's doing. They're trying to go everywhere. And so they only have so much to give in every one of those places, so all of them are at low power. You need to focus like a laser beam into one thing and master the mechanics of it, the system of it, and actually know how to produce students every single day. If you don't have 7 to 10 appointments with a survey attached to them telling you why they want to be a part of your school, to a point where they have to basically qualify to be a part of your school instead of you being desperate and taking anybody, you ain't doing it right. You're not getting it done right. It's not your fault. That's why hopefully that's why you're watching this, so you can learn this stuff, right? You're good at martial arts. I'm really good at martial arts marketing and business and developing products and services that matter. Right? That's why we're friends, right? So this is what most people do. Instagram, Facebook, flyers, birthday parties, school demonstrations that take tons of money and time. And then here's what people do. They're like, God, I'm just so wore out from doing all these school demonstrations, and I'm the only one that can do it. So I don't know how. I got to figure out a way to hire better people and do all this stuff. And then you just market to like everybody, right? Like it's just like anybody, There's no system for signing up. There's no process. We don't know how much it costs to get a new student, because we don't know where the student's even coming from. We don't know how they came in or how they heard us. What we say, our code for us not knowing any of that stuff is word of mouth. How do you get students? Right now, word of mouth. It's not helping, is it? How do you scale if you don't know what it costs? If you're posting everywhere, you're not tracking, and you're trying anything and everything, how are you supposed to know? How do you scale that? It's impossible. If you can't measure something, you can't grow it. Where is it to start? How do you know if it's growing, right? So what we do is we have a focus system, right? We track everything, and because we track it and we use pixels and custom audiences, we can run smart ads. If we know what page they made it to and we know where they were, we can tell Facebook, hey, go find more of those people, or we can retarget them and say, hey, you watched the video, but you didn't set an appointment. And we can go back to them, and our marketing can follow them everywhere, all over the place. Everywhere they go, they see your face. Everywhere they go, they see your gym. That is great, because they would have never seen any of this stuff, because they would have never clicked on anything that you had And therefore, the only reason they have seen this stuff and have clicked on what you have is because they are actually a good student for you. Nobody just clicks on an ad to click on an ad. You click on it because you're interested, you're curious. You don't just opt in at a page and become a lead on accident. Oh gosh, honey, the other day I tripped and fell onto a landing page and accidentally put my email in there. No, you do that because it matters for some reason. They might be identifying your current situation. They might be helping you understand that they might know how to get you to that desired situation. Okay? So we know all the numbers for every single phase of what we're doing, so we can scale it. If we know it costs $33 to get a new student, and we know that our system produces that, it just tells, like Facebook says, oh, to get a filled out survey and an appointment, let's say it costs 30 bucks. Okay? Well, how much do I got to spend then if I want to scale that? The machine will kick out an appointment for 30 bucks. Right? It told me that. It tells me that because there's a pixel on each one of these pages, and it's going through a program that can be like systemized, right? And it tracks and it's smart. It works with artificial intelligence, and it has a pixel on it, so it knows what's going on, right? And so because of that, it tells me, oh, well, hey, to get an appointment that filled out a survey, told you why they want to join, if they have the money, how they found you, what their current problem is, what their desired situation is. It tells you all that. Imagine knowing all that before you even talk to them. And they want you to call them, not you running around with a clipboard chasing them, right? And then Facebook tells you, yeah, we'll get you as many of those as you want. It's just 30 bucks a pop to do it, or 10 bucks or whatever the number is. We're just using numbers right now. But if it's $10 to get a new appointment or $30 to get a new appointment, and I want 5 of them a day, how much do I have to spend? 150 bucks. 150 bucks. Well, then it goes further, right? We even have a process so that when they do set an appointment, they do send their survey, we have a process that we talk to them on the phone, and we know exactly what we're going to ask them, and we know exactly how to sell them, right? And get them to sign up. You guys, once you get them in the door to you, or once you get them on the phone, most of you are like 70 to 80% signing them up, right? It's just you don't know how to get them in the door. You don't know how to get them on the phone. That's the problem, right? So because of this, you can't get them in the door, you can't get them on the phone, you can't sign them up. But because we use a script and we know that about 4 to 5 out of 10 people that we get on the phone that come to us are going to be qualified, and then we'll sign them up. We know this because we track it and we know our numbers. And so now I know that each and every day, if I want 10 appointments, it's going to cost me 300 bucks a day. Well, if I'm closing half of them at 150 bucks a pop or $200 a pop, that's a really good investment. That's a really good return on your money, right? Let's say it costs $150 to get, 5 appointments a day. And these 5 appointments aren't just any old appointment, right? They opted in because you talked to their problem and you explained how you could solve their problem, specifically them. They watched a video that you recorded one time and it's out there 365 days a year, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365. It's out there running no matter what, selling, and it's you doing the best job ever to do it. And then they can come here and they can pick a time that you said, okay, this is my schedule, it's open here, it's open at this time. You get to actually have control. And then they fill out a survey, and then here you tell them, listen, if you don't show up, you can't get in. And you're like, there's no way, Mike, that ain't possible. I do it every single day. Our clients do it every single day. Our gyms do it every single day. Our martial arts schools do it every single day. It works. The fact that you're watching this should say a lot, right? How did this find you? So because we got all this, and because it's systemized and it's predictable and it can run on its own with automation, guess what? We don't forget to call them back. Because when they join here and they touch these pages, the pixels and the audiences and everything, in our email marketing, it follows up with them. We don't have to remember that. It reminds them that they got an appointment coming up, so they show up to the appointment. It reminds them that they did this. And then if they leave this right here because something happened, then guess what? Our ads follow them around everywhere. Have you ever been to Amazon and let's say you're looking at a pair of red sneakers and then you leave Amazon and you go to another website, and all of a sudden you see that ad for those red sneakers following you around everywhere. That's exactly what you should be doing. That's exactly what works, right? That's exactly what our system does. So it's systemized. But what else does this do? How many of you right now have ever been able to go on a vacation since owning your martial arts school? Because if you're not there, it doesn't work, right? And then instead of doing this, we know our traffic sources. We have one main one, and we have like an organic method because we use this to validate our offer before we ever spend money on it. So we don't lose money. We don't want to lose money. The amount of money you guys spend on flyers, or the amount of money that you're spending doing school demonstrations, if you were to put that into a system, into like say Facebook ads or something, or maybe, you know, spend that same money developing a real system, if you spent just the money that you spend on flyers and mailers, and you put it on a focus system that has pixels and custom audiences and retargeting and you know the numbers, you would not have enough instructors and help to handle all that stuff. And that's a really good problem. But this is what we're doing. We need to focus on this. It's efficient because if they fill out a survey and it says, well, I don't have the money right now and I just wanted to try it for the first time and you know, I'm not sure and I just want to kind of come down and see what it costs and I really don't have a goal. I just wanted to, you know, you send them an email back and say, you know, we're really looking for some people that are focused. Like nothing against you. Our culture here, we want it to be, it's just full of like powerful people and winners, and we're not looking for tire kickers really. So you might try one of those other gyms though. I'm just saying, maybe, you know. And in the beginning, you don't do that, right? You talk to people, but this right here, this is how you can be efficient. You are the best person to sell your gym. Nobody can sell your martial arts school better than you. So why don't you do that and explain it to the people that it matters to, like a specific set of people, and then you can put that video up and it can play 24/7, 365, and guess what it does? It hits them where they're at. Bam, right there, right? Where they're actually paying attention, right? You know it and I know it. Just go out in public, go anywhere, and watch. This is all you see. This is all you see all day, right? Isn't it? It ain't holding a flyer, okay? So if you don't know what your cost per student is and where they come from and what you're currently doing to get new students, big scary monster. If you don't have follow-up, listen, we're not good. Humans are terrible at being able to follow up, right? Like we just are. It's just not, we don't like to do it, frankly. Nobody likes to do that. If I didn't have to do marketing, if I didn't have to do anything and I could just make money, that would be, I mean, it just doesn't exist. Like it doesn't make sense. If people think they can just like coast through life and do nothing and get to these like superstar levels or these like big money levels, it's just not reality. You got to put in the time and effort. You got to do it. But so many people just hand it off to somebody else. They're like, oh, we'll hire an agency to do it. And then something that takes like 12 seconds to change takes 2 days. That is a lot of your life and time. And it's silly, right? So you got to be full stack. You got to know all the different parts and pieces. And then you can get somebody in-house that can build it from the inside out. But people are, it's crazy. They want to do all things to all people. Get one thing to power up and work. This is a 7-figure, this is 8-figure, 9-figure system, right? How could it not be? You're like, oh, that's malarkey. You can't do that. How do you know that that'll make 7 figures? Well, I don't know. Think about it. If we know to get a scheduled, quality, high-value scheduled appointment, if we know it costs $20, how much do we got to spend per day to get 10 appointments? High-value appointments. $200 a day. Okay. $200 a day. 10 appointments. We have a solid system for signing them up. We go through a framework, a process, a script when we talk to them, or when our team talks to them. After we learn how to do it, we teach our team. We teach a man to fish, right? We teach a woman to fish, right? For our business. And then here's what happens. They know exactly how many calls it takes to get so many people. So we know what it costs to get a new student. So if we know it costs $100 to get a new student per day, and a new student brings us in $150, $200, and you keep putting the money back in the machine instead of going wherever else with it, and you keep doing this, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden, word of mouth kicks in, and then it starts entering in from this, and then, I mean, it's like a flywheel effect. You know, when there was only one phone out there in the marketplace, it was like pointless. You couldn't get a call and you couldn't call anybody. But as soon as there was 2 phones, better. 1,000 phones, better. So as you get more and more students and you do a good job because it's focused on just them, all of a sudden there's like 10 people out there chanting about you, talking about you, doing these things, right? Then more becomes more. But it's through the best thing ever, which is now word of mouth. But we still have a machine that we can count on. It scales it goes as fast and as hard as you can handle. So if you can't scale and your business is stuck or it's declining, it's because you don't have this system. If you don't know these things, how can you scale it? How do you scale flyers? How do you scale the radio? How do you scale any of that stuff? You can't follow people around like the red shoes examples, like when you go to check something out on Amazon, you can't follow people around. So there's a lot of holes in your bucket. They might have come to your website, but you can't follow up with them or you can't show them another ad because, well, you don't even know that happened. It just says 1 or 2 visits. You don't know who they were. You don't have audiences built up. You can't, every time you run your ad, it can't get smarter and smarter and smarter based off who lands on it. Like I can tell Facebook, hey Facebook, anybody that makes it to this page over here, which means they seen my ad and clicked on it, went to my landing page, gave me their email, watched a video that was focused on them, clicked the button, went and set up an appointment, set the appointment, went here, filled out the survey, filled out a survey. Now that, my friends, is a good lead. That's a real lead, okay? And then they get to this page. Well, I can say, hey, Facebook, anytime somebody makes it to this page, go back and make all my ads go out and find more people like the people that hit this page. And Facebook's artificial intelligence is unbelievable. It's unbelievably accurate and good. You know, people on social media, they have like different behaviors, and pretty soon you'll see people that group together, you know, birds of a feather flock together. That's the thing, that's the cool thing about people is they click together in little groups and pockets. You got hunters and ballerinas and skateboarders and martial artists, and even in martial artists you got, you know, the kung fu guys, the aikido guys, the judo guys, the BJJ guys, right? And gals, right? So it's even crazier on Facebook. You know, you don't know what you had for lunch like 3 days ago or 2 weeks ago, but Facebook does. It knows what you had lunch 2 years ago if you posted it on your page, right? It doesn't forget. And so it takes all this data, because that's the world we're in now, is data, and it uses all that to create some really, really impressive abilities for you to market to your people, okay? So now, if you can't scale, you're stuck or declining in business is because you're relying on this, and you're trying to be all things, all people, and you're not focused on having this. You don't have a way to track and know your numbers. So therefore it can't grow. It's impossible. And we're in a different world now where if you're trying to, you know, like Netflix took Blockbuster out, right? Because people wanted what they wanted, okay? So until you get that in place, you're in trouble. You will get taken out, because the gyms that have this, the schools that have this, the martial arts businesses that have this will destroy you. Silently in the night, you'll get taken out, okay? So you have to get this in place. You have to have a real system and numbers, not emotion. See, a lot of people, when they do have like a system in place or whatever, if it stops working a little bit, they freak out and they like make a change. Well, there's this thing called regression to the mean, Whereas if you give it a little bit more time, you'll see this like pattern occur, right? But you won't see that unless you know your numbers. So you've got to track numbers. You've got to have a real system that is based off logic and numbers. See, whether I'm sad, happy, naked or clothed, 1 + 1 = 2. And if I make my decisions using numbers instead of emotions, I can win and I can explode. But what a lot of people do is they try the marketing thing and they take the advice of like, post a bunch of times, put up these blogs, have a chat bot, do all this stuff. It doesn't work. And so they quit. And that's all we got to do is just wait for them because we have numbers and system behind it. For instance, we don't know like, okay, well, we were declined by all these people here that didn't take the clipboard idea to the, and then Sally didn't show up, and some of them can't actually do the clipboard thing because they don't have the nerve to walk up to strangers, and then blah, 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 and they're like, I don't know. I hear more times than not when I'm talking to somebody, I'm like, what does it cost to get a student? I don't know. If all your students vanish tomorrow, do you have a system that you can deploy at will that within 48 to 72 hours you would have new students? No, I wish. Okay, what are you currently doing right now in this current moment to get new students? Well, we tried Facebook one time and it didn't work. We tried doing Google ads and it didn't work. Do you see what we just talked about, how that just is crazy? Versus what we do, this is my actual stuff here, these are actual shots here. But like, I wake up and my calendar's full. Like I know exactly who it is. I can go in there and pre-color and say, okay, well, based off their survey, whether I'm gonna do something, and I can make those decisions. Every day I know how much I'm spending, how many impressions I'm getting, what my reach is, what my cost per 1,000, every 1,000 times my ad gets shown, I know what that costs down to the penny, how many clicks a day I get, my click-through rate, my cost per click, my leads, my lead percentage rate, my cost per lead. I know exactly how much it costs to get a new student, a new client. I just got to spend that much and it works. It's mechanical, it's a system, it's a machine, right? Just like a table saw, you can push wood through it. Every time you push wood through it that way and the blade's that high, it's going to do what? Cut. This is not a machine. It was back in the day when there wasn't machines, but then machines showed up, horse and buggy, Henry Ford car. And now the car's getting better and better and better because the first car doesn't have a chance against the 911 2020 Porsche, right? So we had to change, right? If you were still driving even the old car, if you're still driving like a 1930s car, you're kind of like unless it's like in perfect condition. I mean, come on, you see what I'm saying? So it's like I know everything, every single number in my business, so I can just turn the volume up, and it works. So then it goes back to this thing where I hear all the time. They're like, well, if you don't own a martial arts school, how in the heck are you going to know how to get me students? You know how ignorant that sounds, how crazy that sounds? Like, you don't want me to be good at martial arts. You want me to be good at this stuff and then help you with it or show you how to do it, right? So I just want to make that point because I see that all the time. I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. I don't want my brain surgeon to be good at construction because I'm a construction guy. I want him to be good at brain surgery, right? You wouldn't go look for a deal on brain surgery, would you? You wouldn't go out there and be like, cheapest brain surgeon in town. Free martial arts class, free weeks. People that are committed, that are going to pay the numbers, that are going to show up, they want to pay for it. They want the best stuff. You wouldn't just like look for the cheapest brain surgeon. You would want the best one on the planet, right? Value versus what we think we need to do is like, who can offer the cheapest price or the most stuff for free when they sign up? That's crazy. This is so important for you to understand as a martial arts business owner. If you really, really want to succeed, you need to have a real system and you need to have numbers that you can count on. You need to be scientific with it. You need to be down to the millimeter, right? You need to know this because as soon as you do, you have high performance. You can just soup it up. You can make it faster and faster and faster, okay? So, number 8, understand the full spectrum. Here's another big problem. It's not your fault, but it's just a real problem out there. It's It's a disruptive truth in martial arts industry, in business, right? There's this full spectrum out there of things that have to happen to make a business work. There's the operations, there's the teaching of the martial arts, the discipline, the marketing, sales, funnels and websites, offer development, business fundamentals to run the business, pay-per-click and email marketing, scaling and automation, problem solving, hiring and managing. The problem is we're stuck here. Like you understand how the school operates pretty good to a degree. Most of you have been running one for a long, long time now, but the problem is that worked when it first started. You know that? You know that. It worked when you first started doing it. You could just hang a sign up. You could just turn your big sign on, or you could stand outside in your karate uniform and hand out a flyer and you'd have new students. And Blockbuster used to work too. And so did horse and buggies, but they don't anymore. Okay? All this stuff happens, and all this has to happen for a business to hit these numbers, to be successful. Now you might be saying, Mike, I don't want $1 billion. I don't want $1 million. I just want to make enough to where I don't have to work 2 extra jobs or to have a second job. And I just want to be able to do martial arts full time and be successful with that. Okay, great. Got to do this stuff. It's the world we live in, right? So if you don't know how to do this stuff, that's why it's not working. Because really what you should be doing is this right here, mastering being a great martial artist and teaching that. But unfortunately, you want more and you want to do that all. So because of that, we have to do more and become more. You know, like the greatest business people in the world, they know all this stuff and they have to know this stuff, but then they can hire people to do it. But if you don't know how to do it yourself, and if you don't know how to look at it, or at least know if you've got, okay, so here's the problem. A lot of you go, well, I'll hire somebody. I'll hire a company to come in and do it. All right, it'll be better than you doing it, sure. But then you're always left to their, like, you're just like, you have no power, you have no control, you don't know. You're like, I think they're doing a good job. I mean, we get some students here and there that don't really, doesn't work out to, I hear this all the time. Yeah, we hired a company to do it, but they didn't really get us too many results. Well, there's a lot to say about that because who knows who you're hiring, for one. But number two, you wouldn't know if it was working or not anyways, other than it just, oh, we're getting a bunch of new students, but it just doesn't work like that. The greatest companies in the world, they do marketing from the inside out, right? They get somebody that lives and breathes and understands their customer and their brand to do the marketing from the inside out. But the problem is nobody wants to spend a few weeks learning some things and at least get an idea in their mind of how things work and operate, or setting it up themselves, putting in the time and effort. You know, say putting in, 6, 7 weeks, 10 weeks of effort, hardcore effort, a couple hours a day learning it to live the rest of their life with incredible ability, and then be able to, because this is systemized, be able to hand that out to somebody else to operate for them. And so when they want to change something with their pay-per-click campaign, they don't have to call the agency and wait 3 days to make the change happen, or 2 days or 1 day or whatever. They can go in there or they can talk to their person that's doing it, and they can say, and it's done. Changed, done. But you understand it, right? So that's what makes a good business. That's the thing, is we have to understand the full spectrum of things and be full stack, because then we can't get taken advantage of here. And then we can focus on what we want to do and not have to worry about this because we have something in place that's working on that, okay? So how do you survive the martial arts business market collapse that's happening? There really is one happening. I can't tell you how many martial arts business owners I talk to and they're like, I'm about 30 days away from shutting the doors. I just can't do it anymore. I'm starting to have to pay out of my own pocket to keep the school open. Before, a couple years ago, a year ago, I could work my job and the dojo at least paid for itself, the school paid for itself. But man, lately I can't get anybody in the door. I don't know how, if I can just get them in the door, I sign them up. But I can't get nobody in the door. It's like, I don't know, it's like nothing works anymore. That's what I hear all the time. Because things have changed. Things are different. Yelling and screaming about how great martial arts is doesn't work, right? Talking about free classes and all that stuff doesn't work. And if you've got people telling you that, it's scary, because people don't buy something because it's free. People don't sign up for something because it's free. What have I been telling you? The only reason people give you their time or money is because you solve their problem. You get them from where they are to where they want to be, and your offer in there is that. And you got to focus. You got to focus on a certain group of people. You got to get audience singularity, okay? Not just take anybody, okay? So how do you survive the martial arts business market collapse? Well, here's how you do it. You get mentorship from somebody who's actually done it. You get mentorship from somebody who's actually done it, actually has the numbers and knows and spends the time and the energy from sun up to sundown on how to do it, how to get a schedule that builds up like that from all over, anywhere. It doesn't matter where you're at, how big a town you're in. That one guy, if you don't remember, drove from South Texas to Vegas, spent a week, took a week off, worked a normal low job, saved up the money, spent $6,000 on a 7-day class. Why? Because it mattered. It mattered to him. And he was willing to do whatever it took to get there. But if you have somebody that can show you how to create that offer, somebody that can show you how to create a focus system, somebody that can show you how to track and retarget people that come through here so you don't lose out on that. You know, you pay money to get them to your business, you pay money on an ad to get them here, but because you don't have a pixel set up and custom audiences in place, you can't keep after them. You can't follow up with them automated. You can't keep showing them ads till they're ready. All right? People need 7 to 10 exposures sometimes before they buy something, right? If you don't know your numbers, you can't grow it. It's impossible. It's impossible. Okay? You'll get to a certain thing, like as much as your human body allows you to, like you can trade your flesh for so much, but then it'll just max out and die. Like a lot of your experience, you're stuck or it's declining. You can't give it anymore, right? You can only do so much. But if you have a machine in place and know the numbers, you can turn it up to whatever volume you can handle on the other end of like how many students, most of you can handle 250 students, okay? And you could have the best students in there because you'd have the pick of the litter because you have a choice. That's why we do these things here. Every one of these pages is a filter. It gets the tire kickers and kicks them out, and the serious ones come through the filter, right? And then you get to speak to them. And then you get to a point where you're deciding between the good ones, right? So it's predictable now. It tells you. Facebook will tell you. Oh, you want another one of these? You want another? Okay, this is how much it is. If you want 2 of them and they're $50 a piece, spend $100. Okay? I'm not making this rule. It does, right? It's what we could work with. It's efficient. It sells. You need this, right? So you need somebody that can help you with your messaging. And your messaging only matters if you know how to create an offer. And your offer only matters if you know how to figure out who your audience is. So you need somebody that can help you create your messaging. You need somebody that can help you create an offer that matters to a certain target audience. And you need to have somebody help you find out what is it that target audience is, what is it that target audience wants and needs and has the problem with, and what is it that you say to them in order to get them to see your offer, right? And then you need an inbound student system. That's the one we just, that system we just talked about, right? You need somebody that helps you do predictable sales. You need a system in your sales. A lot of you guys are just saying, they come in, here's what you guys say. They come in and we show them the gym, we offer them a free class, and they sign up. They won't stay. Like, I hear this, they won't stay. They come for a week, then they're gone. Okay, well, do you say the same thing every time they come in? Well, we do, but I mean, it's the same thing all the time. Are you talking about like, why did they come in? Oh, I don't know. We don't really ask them that kind of stuff. We get them in there, we let them try a class. Even if it is like they try a class and they like it, if they can't see why it matters to them, or if they can't understand why they want to be there and that you understand that, they're waving on you on the way out, or they never show up. And then they got a free gi out of you. They got a free day of your time, or hour, half hour, whatever, that you can never get back ever again. And so you're not efficient. And so you need to have a predictable sales system. You need to have automated follow-up that follows them around everywhere they go, all over the internet, that emails them so they don't forget to come into the appointment. You don't got time to do that. You're teaching martial arts. So you got to have a system in place that teaches that does that. A predictable scaled ad system. How do you scale Facebook ads? How do you get them to work in the first place? Like, how do you get your ad to be in front of the right person in the first place, right? You need that. You need a method of operations and management. How do you find somebody and hire them to operate this whole system so that you can go on vacation with your husband or wife? Or go explore other things about your art to be better at it, to offer a better product? What if you could go on vacation and it operated without you? What about those of you that want a franchise? Forget about it if you don't have this stuff in place. You're crazy. Ain't even possible. You're dreaming. You are dreaming. But if you get this in place, it's a dream come true. And then you've got to have somebody that, there has to be a system. They need to know when this lever gets pulled, this is how much it costs. This is what it does. Here's what we do. Here's how we do it. You need somebody that can show you this so you have that full stack system. So you have the full operatable system. You need to be focused. You need to simplify your operations. So many of you got so many crazy things going on, and you're trying to do all these different things, or you teach all these different disciplines. A general practice, like a general surgeon, right? They make 100 times less money than like a brain surgeon. A brain specialist, a brain surgeon specialist will make 100 times, if not more, 100 times more money than just a general practice surgeon or just a general doctor. Why? Because they're focused and specialized on a certain thing with a certain person. And it's worth everything to them because they know their current situation, they know them inside and out, and they know where they want to be and what they want to have fixed. And that person says, I'll give you any amount of money, you fix this. Less overhead. It's expensive to do school demos and birthday parties. It's expensive to do all that stuff. Buy flyers, all that stuff. That stuff's expensive. It's like $3 to $5 grand to run flyers or mailers. If you spent $3 to $5 grand a month on Facebook ads, like it would be crazy. We spend $10,000, $15,000 all the time on ads all the time, and it comes right back at that day, right? You gotta have a system. You can't just be like, I don't know. That's what you're going to be saying when somebody's like, can you pay your bill? I don't know. No. If you're serious about doing this full time and not have 2 or 3 jobs, or you're, whatever, right? You got to have this stuff. I'm not even kidding. Or you're just it's gonna go bye-bye. I could sit up here and cherry coat this and like try to be all whatever. I'm not like mad at you. I ain't even talking down to you. I'm just being real with you. Like I said at the beginning of this thing, I just want to cut to the chase and the facts and be real. Not even mad, not nothing. I care about you. I want you to succeed as a martial arts business owner. But if you ain't got this stuff dialed in, you're dreaming. And you know that. Or you wouldn't still be watching this, right? You gotta have predictability. And it comes through these things, right? Forget about all the posting of the content and crap. Forget about it. Put some stuff up that shows people that you know what the heck you're talking about. But after that, it's about solving problems. That's all it's about. It's about having a good product. So, if you want to be on the winning side of the martial arts industry and you want to learn how to do this stuff, I'm taking some calls here. Go ahead and you'll talk to either me or somebody on my team. Go to martialartsgrowth.com/training and you can set up a call with me, okay? We can jump on, we can talk about your business, we can see where you're at. You can learn how to do this stuff, you can learn these things, okay? You can figure out how to get this system and we'll talk about it. We'll understand the cost per student. It'll probably be the best thing you've done in your business all year long or that you could do this year. So, I appreciate your time. I hope you've gotten a lot of value out of this. I hope you got some awareness to what's going on and the things that are not working in the industry and why, and you're a little bit more clear and you have a better understanding of where you're at, and you have a better understanding of how you know how to get to where you're going. And if you want me to help you across that gap, if you want me to help you get more students predictably with a system. So you have that, remember that calendar I showed you and then had those numbers right here that of everything, so we knew. It wasn't like, I wasn't like, I hope, I wonder. Like we know. Go to martialartsgrowth.com/training and we can chat, we can talk, one-on-one, we can talk about your business, where you're at, what's going on, and you can be on the winning side of the martial arts industry, and you can actually make this year the best year you've ever had, and you can be in control of it. So that's all I got for this video. I appreciate your time, I appreciate your attention, I care about you, and I'd love to chat with you, and I hope I get to help you out this year and help you make that change that you needed to make, so you can go from horse and buggy to the new Porsche, right? So that's it. Thanks a lot. My name is Mike Gowans, and hope I get to talk to you. Thanks.